In the U.S., there's been widespread protests, especially on university campuses, but also spilling through the cities. And you see that in London, for example. You see it in France. It's a worldwide campaign. What's your sense of how those campaigns were organized and who's lurking behind the scenes there? And to say something to people who believe that they're on the side of the good when they're protesting Israel's actions in the Middle East after October 7th.
I see here a merge of two different strands that almost are opposite of each other, but in a peculiar way, they merge. The first one is radical Islam. We're not going to change any of their minds. And I believe that there's significant money, Qatari money, Iranian money, being funneled towards this. So that's one strand. And the other strand is radical, progressive, woke idiots, for the lack of a better term, naive people who view the world in a neo-Marxist frame where there's always a victim and a victimizer. And Israel, look, I've got white skin here, so I'm the bad guy by definition. Forget the fact that the land of Israel has been my homeland for 3,800 years. Forget the fact that much of those 3,800 years, we had a state in Israel. And when we weren't in that state, we were praying 3 times a day. I pray every morning. We will return to Jerusalem. Now we are in Jerusalem. And it's incredibly difficult to pull someone out of that frame, because basically if you're the aggressor and he's the victim, he's allowed to do anything. He's allowed to murder people, torture people because he's the victim. And factually, that just is not true. The Arabs have huge areas of land. I think hundreds of times the size of Israel. I'd let your viewers know, they probably don't know, Israel in its entirety is the size of New Jersey. Mm-hmm. That's how big we are. It's a tiny, tiny country. And, before the Jews came back home, beginning in the late 1800s, it was a desolate, barren, miserable land infested with mosquitoes and malaria. And as there was always Jewish presence, but it wasn't under Jewish governance. But as Jews came around the world and began to flourish this desolate land, Arabs began coming from Iraq, from Egypt. In their names, Palestinian names, many of them are called El Masri, which means Egypt. Masr is Egypt. El Baghdadi, El this, El that. So you see that, which is fine. That's okay. But go get a life. Stop being victims. Go build your future. And it seems to me that their core ideology is to prevent us from having a state, and not rather than them having their own future. Mm-hmm.